Hey y'all, it's me. Um, I haven't been on in a couple days. I want to give you guys some time to kind of process what I have been sharing. Also, time for myself to process what I've been sharing, and what I want to continue to share, and how I want to share my story. I do want to say I appreciate you all for the support and the love that you've been showing me. You've been extremely supportive, and I appreciate that. It's not always easy getting on this app and just sitting here talking to a telephone, practically talking to myself. And as a matter of fact, I have a friend who's going to jump on the live with me today. My friend, Tammy was a caregiver for her mother as well. So she's going to share some of her story with us. She's also a life coach as well. So we're going to talk a little bit about her story. We're going to talk about caregiving during the holidays, dealing with stress during the holidays, and how to just manage our emotions. One of the other things that I realized recently is that during the holidays is also a time where we lose a lot of loved ones. So that can be an added amount of stress. Like we lost a loved one last year on Thanksgiving Day. And what I realized this year is that even though the day will change, like the date moves around, but Thanksgiving is always that Thursday. So we will forever remember that day, Thanksgiving Day, as the day that he left us. So already, processing through that, trying to be mindful of other people's feelings and emotions as it relates to other family members, because it's not easy. It's just not easy. It can be very challenging, and just want everyone that is dealing with grief or loss, and even remember, I talked about the fact that sometimes we are grieving even when that person is still alive. So don't discredit yourself. Just because your loved one is still here with you does not mean that your emotions are not drained. Your emotions probably are still extremely drained, and you're probably exhausted in so many aspects, not just the physical, but probably in a lot of ways also the emotional toll that is taking on you. So I want to see if my friend is available, yet I don't see her. I'm going to try to get her on here. Okay, well, hopefully she'll log on in a second. In the meantime, let's dive into the holidays a little bit. I think on one of my lives, I shared with you all how my first holiday with my sister was just so strained because we actually had met at Thanksgiving. So when the Thanksgiving rolled around and things had changed so significantly, me actually rolling her in a wheelchair, me requesting transportation and having to pay for a transport van to come and pick her up was challenging. Okay, here's Tammy. Let me bring Tammy into the conversation. There she goes.
Hey,
Okay.
hey.
Hey, Tammy.
Hi, how are you?
I'm well, thanks. How are you?
I need to turn some lights on in here. I am great. I see you are on talking about holiday stuff.
Holiday stuff. Yeah, it's that time of year. And Tammy, I know you and I have kind of been texting one another and talking a little bit. And I know this is a challenging time of year for you as well. You was a caregiver for your mom. But I also know that she has some health issues around this time of year as well
She
that
did.
probably.
She did. As a matter of fact, today is the 1 year anniversary of the day I was awakened early in the morning because she was having a stroke.
Mm,
And so up until today, like the last week and a half, I've been just stuff has been bubbling up and I couldn't understand. And then when I looked at the calendar, I'm like, oh my God, a
that's
year
right.
has gone by already. And it's almost like everything was dormant and now it's starting to
Yeah.
bubble up.
Level up. So was your mom living with you, Tammy, at the time?
She was
Okay.
living with me, right next door,
Uh-huh.
in the house and in the next bedroom. And yeah, it was interesting because it was to be awakened from a dead sleep, and she was opening doors and closing doors and stuff, and the stroke took her sight, so she couldn't find the bathroom.
Oh man.
Yeah. So it was that's what this day means for me today, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I know like you're talking about how it's been kind of like weighing on you for the last week or so. And I know I lost my sister over a year ago, and I lost my father even longer than that. And I realized I didn't think about it at the time, Tammy, but I was actually a caregiver for my dad. But I never thought of myself as a caregiver because he never lived with me. I didn't move him in with me. But I had modified my life, even though he was still living alone, I had still modified my life so greatly to help him with his
Yeah.
life. So I say all that to say, sometimes now I feel my emotions revving up. I feel that I feel different and I don't understand why. And then all of a sudden I look at the calendar and I'm like, oh, it's that day.
Isn't that
And
amazing?
so what do you think it is, Tammy? Do you think subconsciously our bodies just respond to it naturally and we're not even when we're not mentally aware of it or focus on it, it's just something in our bodies that remember and recall those events?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that stuff is locked in. It's just like you can smell a scent or hear a song and take you right back to that space or place. You can remember where you were, who you were with, you were dancing. It's the same thing. It's the
Yeah.
same thing. Yeah. That was a very emotional, I would say almost traumatic, to hear my mother in distress like that, yelling for help
Oh,
and not knowing what's going on, again being awakened from a deep sleep and hearing that. And so and there's, to that point, I felt very helpless in that
yeah.
moment because I could not help her. I didn't know what was happening, and that's more so what I remember, just feeling so unavailable,
Oh.
not useful in that moment.
Mm. That's deep, Tammy. That's real deep. You said helpless. You said not usable, and I think as caregivers, that's one of the things we want to be. We want to be helpful. And we're always disappointed with ourselves when we don't feel we're stepping up to the plate that we need to be at. But I would say that even the simple fact that you had already moved your mom in with you, the fact that your mom did not experience that stroke at home by herself
Woo, wow. Yeah, that
says a
would have
lot,
been, yeah.
right?
I can't even imagine. I'm so thankful. That's more so what I've been focusing on,
Right.
is the fact that I made it to a year from when that happened. Now she
Yes.
passed away in January, so I'm just sort of kind of front loading what's going to happen in these December,
Yeah.
and and what is that going to look like for me, thinking of her gone. But what I have learned, if I can share that, is that it's okay to have those low moments, those valley moments, because I'm not going to stay there. That's just not who I am. I mean, I feel it, and I might cry and weep, and that has been happening, and
Yeah.
I let it happen, but I'm not staying in that place. I am like,
Yes.
okay, that was then. You are now a year, 365 days right here. And so, what is it that you're going to do to move you forward? Not neglecting that happened. It did,
It did.
but I can't stay there.
Cannot. That is so true. You cannot stay there. You cannot stay in that pain. You have to honor that pain,
Yes.
but you can't stay in that pain. You can't sit in that pain. So, Tammy, that's easier said than done. How do we
Oh,
pull
yes.
ourselves? How do we pull ourselves out of that pain? Right? It sounds good on a postcard, but what does it look like in real life?
You know, what I've focused on is every night I write at least three things that I am thankful and grateful for that happened to me in that day. So even in my lowest day, something happened good. Like I got up, I'm
Yes.
breathing, I have
Yes.
food. So there is always something good. We just tend to overshadow it with, oh, I'm feeling this doom and gloom. I'm grieving. And yes, those are legitimate, totally acceptable
Feelings.
feelings for this time.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but that cannot keep me from doing what I still do. I'm still amongst the living.
Yes.
And
And we
so
have to live.
yes, I still have to honor
Yes.
myself and her by continuing to live and to thrive.
Cool. Tammy, listen, our caregiving stories are very different. And I want to ask you, how did your how did you come to know, or how did you come to decide that it was time for your mom to come live with you? Because with me, my sister just got sick immediately and we knew she needed a caregiver. With you, I think it was a little bit of a process.
Yes, yes. I actually, and in retrospect, there were so many telltale signs that I totally blasted right over because I didn't know. I did not know what the symptoms were. I knew she wasn't being her normal self, but I didn't
Mm,
know what really was unfolding in front of me. And so it wasn't until I took a class that like all the pieces started being put in line. Was able to connect the dots. And I'm like, and then of course she kept misplacing her card, and my mother never misplaced her card. She
mm,
was always very a financial wizard, and she always knew, money and things like that. So things started happening, and I thought, okay, what's going on? And then of course I could pull up her accounts, and I started seeing charges that were not her charges, but were in the neighborhood. And then unfortunately some person, she was trying to, out of the her gracious heart, who she always was in the community, but as she got older she couldn't differentiate,
yeah.
and so she had someone move in who was basically, taking her for a ride. And then, of
Mm,
course, the scams, and with the gift cards and the police. Someone called me from the police and said, come get your mother. And so
wow.
I knew at that point that I was ready to come and get her sooner, but she's like, oh, and when you know something, you just know in your heart this is not good. But because of my role as daughter and her
Yes.
role as my mother,
Mother.
I did not want to overstep my boundaries. Now, fast forward a month after that, I overstepped my boundaries. I had to
You had
because
to.
I needed to keep her safe. And I saw that she was not in a safe place. The police calling and this person staying there, and her account being, taken advantage of, just writing checks. And
Right.
so I had to tell her that we were going to visit some family in Alabama and to pack a bag, and we were leaving. I'm coming, we're leaving. And that was how I got her down here. Was she happy?
Wow.
No. But did it work? That was the decision that I was trying to get to. And so the result was to get her here. And so of course
Right.
I had to go back up and shut down the house and sell the house and everything, cleaning out the house. But I got her out of that situation. And that took the stress off of me because she was 7.5 to 8 hours away
Away from you. Right.
driving. Yes. So it wasn't like you could just jump in the car and show up over there,
Yeah. No, Tammy,
That took
that's
a
huge.
toll.
And thanks for sharing, because I think a lot of children, adult children, are struggling with that balance between their parents' independence, their
Mhm.
parents' desire to stay in their own home, but the need for us as children, even though we're adult children, to take care of them. And so I like the way you said you said what you needed to say to get her to you, and then you work it out on the back end. So were you able to work it out so that she was eventually came to terms with the fact that she needed to be at home with you?
She did. And of course, she was still very independent, but the brain wasn't acting,
Right.
firing on all the cylinders or whatever you want to say. But she was still very alert. But then there were areas that just wherever the stroke was, because she had one. Not, she had her two strokes down here. She had not had a stroke that I know of up
Okay,
there.
before. Okay.
Right. But yes, it is. It's a very interesting thing. She used to tell her friends, well, I got kidnapped. And I said, didn't nobody pay a ransom? So, we made light of it, and that was something that we always did, is that we joked around or whatever. She understood that I was taking care of her and that she
Right.
needed to have someone to take care of her. Deep down inside, she knew
She
that was
knew.
my reasoning for doing it. Yeah, most definitely. She didn't criticize, or she wasn't harsh in any manner. She knew
Uh-huh.
why I
Uh-huh.
was doing it.
Yeah, so that's another thing that I'm glad that you're sharing. You said that y'all had to make light of it. We have so many caregivers out there that are not finding the space and the capacity to make light of, but it's so imperative. Tammy, tell us how you did that. Tell us how you found the space to laugh and relax in the middle of all that was going on and all the changes in your life.
Wow. Well, by design, because I am her child, we have just this silly gene. I'm just gonna start there. We always are gonna find the humor. I'm gonna look for the cow in the room full of crap. Always, always. It may take me a little time searching and digging, but I'm gonna get to that
Get to
point.
it. Okay.
And I really just don't spend a lot of time in the negative, because that's heavy. It's a very low vibration. I would prefer to spend time in the, remembering the person,
Yes.
and remembering the times, and the hugs and the kisses. As my auntie used to always say, give me my flowers while I am still
Yes.
alive and I can enjoy them. And so that was sort of kind of the thread that went through us, that we are always enjoying ourselves. We took in the arts, we did things together. My mom and I swam together. So we were always moving around and just enjoying each other's company, because we know that we all are going to go through the ritual of life, which is death. That is something that no one wants to talk about, but it is true. And
It's
I
coming.
think for me, yes, the more you talk about it, it's not like you're revving it up. It's just you're being very truthful about the fact. And what are the wishes of your loved one? What
Yeah.
is it that they really, really want? It's not what you want, because it's not about you anymore. And that was a sobering understanding and lesson that I had to learn, because my life became the care, the safety, the nurturance, the everything for my mother.
Hmm.
And until I made that switch, there was a lot of anger, there was a lot of fear, there was a lot of frustration. Once I made that mindset
Yes.
shift in my brain, it made everything like the chorus, oh,
It made
because
sense.
yes,
Yes.
it was so much
Yes.
easier to navigate.
Yes.
It was
Yes.
so much easier to
Yes.
navigate.
Wow. Where do you think the anger originated from? The frustration and stuff you're talking about.
Um, Not having the resources, and she came into, I need to say, she came in 2020. So,
Okay.
everybody was dealing with stuff.
Hmm.
Programs were shut down.
Right.
And so we didn't have access. But what I did have was a directory of services. So I tore that book up looking for services, so that when we started to come out of the pandemic, I was on the list. And so they started calling.
Okay.
But
Good.
yeah, I think more so it's the frustration, because you don't know what's going on. You miss the person that used to be, that is no longer and continually changing every day.
Yes. Yes.
You miss the fact that you feel like no one's helping you. Like, oh, well, you
Hmm.
got that. Tammy's got that. And really inside, it's just like, even if someone were to say, hey, can I help you with something? I probably would have declined, but it's the fact that you acknowledge that I need some help.
Yeah.
Um, you know, um, the line for, and I've expressed this with the medical establishment that we dealt with, the wait line to get in to
To get
see.
things. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because we did not have a diagnosis. I had what I was seeing, but I learned from a support group of other medical steps and tests that could have been taken to get a diagnosis.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, we were 6 months out. And the wonderful thing, I should say, it was a beautiful blessing. She had a very small stroke, and that sort of catapulted us to the front of the line to get
Okay.
into the doctors and to get all, because while she was in the hospital, they did all the testing. So when she came out, we had a diagnosis, we had what was going on, and, we had the physical therapy, all of that. So small blessings.
Awesome, awesome. Well, Tammy, I really appreciate you sharing some of your story with me. Our stories are so different, but then at the same time, there's so much alike and the same because there's so many things that parallel each other. I don't want to go all the way into your story tonight. Would you agree to come back on with me in the future? And let's talk some more about your story and my story, but before we jump off tonight, can you let people know how to reach you? Because you're a life coach, and I know that sometimes as caregivers, we don't realize the importance of taking care of ourselves. And I think one of the most important things you said tonight was that mind shift, that mindset change allowed you to find that peace that you needed so that you could actually build memories with your mom so you could enjoy life rather than struggling with it and fighting with it and tussling with it. How would people get in contact with you to take advantage of your services as a life coach?
Excellent. So I have my Facebook post is the Authentic Caregiver Coach. So that's one way to reach out. You can DM me. As a matter of fact, I'm having a holiday giveaway right now. So if you put in the messages and I'm learning the technology, but
Okay.
you put holiday in the comments, it should send you working on it, some information.
Okay.
But even more so, more permanent, more definite is reimagining, like minus life, not the underscore, the minus,
Okay.
reimagining dash life.com. And on there is my way that you can, if you say reach out to me or work with me, it then has a sheet for you to fill out and you can schedule an appointment. So that's the best way. Happy holidays to everyone.
Oh, cool beans. Was Tammy, it was good talking to you as always. Like I said, please join me again in the future so we can delve even deeper into our stories, your story especially. Is there any last minute things that any memory or anything that you want to leave with the caregivers about the holidays before we hop off?
I do. I want you to give yourself grace, right? Express
Yeah.
your gratitude, right? Repattering your thinking. Be accountable for your feelings. That's the A. The C is give yourself some compassion. And the E is to erase the negativity. Anything that
Mm,
pops into your head, you know how you get together and Uncle such and such always say something. Let him just say that. Don't let it ruffle your feathers. Be present. Stay present.
that's beautiful. Now tell me what that means by being accountable for your feelings. What's that?
If you're feeling something come up, sit with it for a while. That's not who you are. That's just what you're feeling in that moment, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't determine you. So there's a lot of lessons in the darkness, and I am learning so much about what I am feeling, but I'm not claiming that that's who I am. It's just where I am right now.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that's cool. Thanks for sharing. I think that's a valuable lesson because, guys, we're going to feel a lot of emotions this holiday. Like I say, holidays are stressful in the sense that even if life is perfect for you, holidays become stressful because you're trying to shop, you're trying to cook, you're trying to travel, you're doing all these extra things. Now, you take that and you add it to a death that has happened around the holidays. That's even more complicated. You take that and you add it to someone needing your assistance with their life, then you're a caregiver. That complicates it even more. So basic holiday for the perfect life is challenging. When you start adding these other things on top of it, it becomes even more challenging. So like Tammy just said, be accountable for your feelings. Allow yourself to feel what you feel. Every feeling is okay. We just can't express all feelings any way we want to. It's not a problem feeling them, it's how we express them. So honor yourself, honor what you're feeling. Take patience with yourself, love on yourself, and know that it's okay. Whatever you're feeling is okay. Whether it's anger, resentment, frustration, love, happiness, peace, whatever you're feeling, all those feelings are okay. Well, we're going to sign off now. Thanks for joining me, Tammy. I love you all. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.
Bye.
Ah, I did it, Maya.